Good afternoon, everyone. We just wanted to provide a brief update and a reminder that the New York State Salary Transparency Law will be going into effect now in less than 2 months on September 17th, 2023. As we all know, the last couple of weeks or months of summer tend to fly by, so that date's going to be upon us very quickly. We encourage everybody to get ready if you aren't already for implementation of your salary transparency program. And specifically what that requires is for all employers with 4 or more employees who are posting for positions that are either going to be performed in New York State or a remote or hybrid position that reports to an office or supervisor that's based in New York State. So it's a fairly broad application, particularly for New York State-based employers. The salary transparency law requirements are going to apply to all written advertisements or postings for jobs. They do not apply generally to sort of informal inquiries or recruitment activities that are targeted towards a specific individual unless they are written in a sort of a posting or an advertisement style solicitation for applicants, for candidates to apply. The requirements, the salary transparency requires that you include a range of starting salary that's based on a good faith assessment of what you are planning to pay the successful applicant, the successful job candidate, either in terms of hourly wages or annual salary. If there is a single number that you're going to pay, for instance, $17 an hour is the starting salary, then you can just post that. You can just say that. But if there is an actual range, including a minimum and a maximum, then you need to post that. If you're not sure what that is, you have to kind of sit down and try to figure out what, in good faith, you estimate it to be based upon what you know about the position, the job market, things like factors like that. If you end up being wrong and you need to pay, for instance, more than you had estimated, we generally recommend that you repost the position. However, in certain circumstances, it may not be required as long as you can document the reason why you are paying outside that range. So, for instance, if you posted it's going to be a $17 to $20 an hour range and you end up paying 21, you may not have to repost that position if you only had a few candidates apply, for instance, and you have somebody who's maybe more qualified than you anticipated. But I would document the reason why you're going to do that. The state salary transparency law, unlike some of the municipal or local law requirements, does also require that you post a job description if one exists. If you don't have a job description, you don't have to create one. However, we generally advise that you do have job descriptions. It's really a best practice. And now may be a good time to sort of review those, take a look at what they say, make sure that particular components are up to date, such as essential functions or qualifications, things that you may need to look at in either defending an equity challenge or when evaluating the employee's performance, or determining what may be a reasonable accommodation under the ADA or New York State Human Rights Law. So it's a good time to take a look at those job descriptions and make sure that they are accurate and up to date. Another thing that you may want to do in preparation for implementation of the New York State salary range posting requirements is to do an equity study. We can help you with that. You're going to be looking for things like outliers and statistical deviations across a broad range of categories and individual characteristics, things that you may be challenged on. There are going to be likely, if you haven't been posting salary range before and you're going to start, there's going to be greater transparency. That is the intent of the law. You want to be ready for that and make sure that you know what regulator or maybe a potential plaintiff who's unhappy with the salary range or what they're currently being paid is going to find out. We want to know that first so that you can address it internally. So we do encourage employers to be performing salary equity studies now. You should do that with your counsel because it's fairly important that that is A, done correctly, and B, done under the protection of privilege, attorney-client privilege. because you don't want to be creating documents that may have information in them that could be useful to a potential plaintiff or a group of plaintiffs or a regulator. So that's the update on the New York State Salary Transparency Law going into effect September 17th. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.